it!
Hello internet, welcome to Bungo Theory, the show where I swear I'm leaving Twitter but a chapter drops and suddenly I'm one of Fyodor's apostles waiting for his orders. Sorry, I have always wanted to do that intro. But enough dilly-dallying, let me warn you that this isn't a typical cash video, but a short analysis on all my observations and my predictions for the next chapters, and let's get into it. Obviously, spoiler warning for 119 by the way. But before that, a quick recap! In the last 3 chapters, we lost a handful of characters, one of them being likely permanent and the other 4 more ambiguous, which I'll talk about. Our lovely Aya is left all alone. Who will save her? That's right, BSD's own vampire boyfriend. Speaking of, vampire boyfriend's partner was having a mental breakdown last we saw him, right before our lovely villain approached. Thank you for tuning into this cash update. I'll see y'all next time. In this chapter, Fyodor has his big villain moment, telling Atsushi that the only person that could save the agency was him. This is because of his ability. Byakko, the tiger, if you didn't know, can transcend Gozen's ability. You see, singularities are something that play a bigger role in BSD as the story and the chapters progress, and this is where we see it most. Beast Beneath the Moonlight is a singularity, or at least part of it, as we've been told in Beast, and we know that from the original Sokoku that only singularities can stop other singularities. And since Gozen is a tripolar singularity, it is the strongest one that we've seen so far. Anyways, after Fyodor explains the whole shabam, he lets us know that Gozen's physical form is merely a shadow of its much stronger power, before dropping the fact that he just fucking lied and he knows that Atsushi alone could not have defeated it, but rather played a role in its downfall with his singularity. Afterwards, Fyodor finishes his speech, and this is where my favorite part of this chapter comes in. He offers to let Atsushi take his side, stating that he wants an equal by him. Also, if you watch my Fyodor video, I discussed how he wants someone to challenge and amaze him, and this is that element of his character, and he offers to allow Atsushi have the page in exchange for having him at his side. However, this is where Atsushi is overestimated in light of Byakko. You see, Fyodor gives him 5 minutes to ponder over whether he'll join him, and Atsushi doesn't even take a second. This pure show of emotions, as tears roll down his cheeks, all resolve crumbling as he sobs, accepting Fyodor's offer instantly. It disgusts him. Byakko to him is a noble being, and unlike any other ability, one that, instead of causing chaos as he believes so many do, is meant to protect. She is a being worth worshipping to him, and her host being this sullen, desperate boy, Fyodor finds that undeserving. How dare this boy consider himself so worthy to hold on to this diamond in the rough of an ability? And so what does he do in retaliation to that despeраcy? He attempts to get rid of that pesky host by decapitation. By the way, if you're confused, let me explain what I think could be the reason. Let me reiterate that I'm likely wrong about this is just my belief. Byakko protects Atsushi's mind. In the moments Atsushi confronts and reasons with her, it is in his head, one could say. The human brain can survive up to 6 minutes after decapitation, and since Fyodor only wants the ability that resides in that brain, he has no problem getting rid of the rest. Take everything I say in the context of the word theory with a grain of salt. But all of this plays into Fyodor's hatred of ability users really well. He hates the users. He hates the abilities that they use, and by extension that he hates their host. Byakko isn't an ability to him, she is a singularity, strictly. Now that that's covered, the next thing that happens in this chapter is... So let me say this, in true Fyodor fashion, I fucking lied. My favorite part isn't any damn symbolism, it's Akutagawa Ryunosuke, hello gorgeous! But being serious, I was fucking devastated upon realizing that, oh my fucking god, Akutagawa doesn't remember Atsushi, he doesn't remember the promise, he doesn't remember telling him about his illness, he doesn't remember how far he's come next to his rival. But before I get into that, let's discuss what's going on here, starting with Akutagawa and Rashomon. I think we all noticed this, but he's a lot better at fighting now, isn't he? I'm talking about how he's using Rashomon, not as an ability, but as an extension of himself, as something to defend and protect and attack, rather than just using it for violence. This is something we have never seen from him in any universe. He is channeling Rashomon so well as if it's part of him, as if he's come to terms with it the way Atsushi did with Byakko. This is the first time ever we get to see Akutagawa grow, and this all because of his vampirism. You see, when Ram died, he transferred his desire to protect Aya and the commoners with Akutagawa. He entrusted him with a purpose. And let me remind you that Akutagawa's previous purpose was simply to win over Dazai's approval. And it was this stubbornness and his refusal to accept help from anyone that kept him alive and going. Now, this is where I'm gonna get into the much darker topic of abuse. The thing about Akutagawa is that his abuser is still around. He still uses him, pulling him along like a toy on a string whenever he needs him. I know Dazai has changed, but to Akutagawa, he's still the same person. Akutagawa could never grow with Dazai around. And with Dazai out of his mind and replaced with a new purpose, we're seeing him achieve feats seemingly previously unachievable by such a broken and beat down person. Let me reiterate, I don't know how far his amnesia has gone. I don't know whether it has erased everything including the Mafia, Gin, and Dazai and only left the desire to protect Aya, or if this is something that just wiped away his memory of Atsushi, which is much more unlikely. There's a chance this could be permanent or something that will leave him when Aya is 100% safe, but we don't know that yet. However, and much as it breaks my heart to say, this could be the clean slate Akutagawa needs to continue growing as a person. This could be the fresh start after everything he's been through. In Beast, which is always going to be relevant, Dazai does everything in his power to convince Akutagawa that he's always going to be evil through and through. This could be the moment that he surpasses Dazai's abuse. This could be better for Akutagawa. Did I start sobbing like a little kid when I read the translation? No fucking doubt. But this, as much as I hate to admit it, could be good for him. Also, before I sign off on this point, I would like to add that some people are saying that Akutagawa saying "who are you" to Atsushi might just be him in a tonal way, because he does treat Atsushi coldly, and I just want to say that is unlikely because he is talking very differently. Akutagawa, I know that he talks in a very fancy way, but this is a bit of a stretch even considering that, and that's all I want to say about that point. It is likely that he has amnesia, guys. I'm sorry. But enough about that, let's get into the last thing we need to discuss in this chapter. In another medium. I'm not gonna beat around the bush with this one. They're fine, guys. I'm being serious. I made a theory thread a while back, but I'll explain it here too. Gozen isn't killing the ability users, he's taking away their abilities. He stabs Kunikida in his heart, where he keeps his ideals, a significant part of how he utilizes his ability. His notebook remains of him, the thing that he believes keeps his humanity in check. He stabs Tanizaki in the eye, playing onto the fact that he makes illusions to deceive the sight. He cuts off Kenji's hands, symbolizing his strength. And Teruko, her ability may not play into it, but her uniform remains, the thing that she believes makes her who she is. He is taking these abilities and storing the users in a sort of pocket dimension like Lucy's ability, or maybe just storing them in a bubble form. And the moment you've been waiting for, I believe Rampo is fine. Whatever dimension the ability users are in, I'm pretty sure he was transported there first and foremost, since he doesn't have an ability for Gozen to take first. Remember, it's abilities that Fyodor hates, and he has no use for Rampo. So I believe while Gozen takes abilities, he keeps the humans he no longer needs in another dimension. And if that isn't the case, I'm just saying, there's a book on the ground written by a certain someone who can pull people into books. Just saying. And before I sign off this video, I'm well aware that I didn't address everything that happened in the chapter, and there's some things that some people might still be confused about, so I encourage you all to engage in discussion in the comments, whether it's related to 119 or a chapter that you were confused about previously. I encourage you all to discuss civilly. And if you think that I'm incorrect about something, and if you think that I'm spitting utter bullshit, please let me know in the comments, and that's all I want to say for now. Discuss among yourself and discuss among me as well. Anyways, that's all for this video. I don't have much else to add, except that if I see one more tweet saying that BSD has no plot, I am killing myself in front of you all. Goodbye.